Okay. See if I can pop this up a little bit here. Get you a little more. Yeah, we're fixing it. We're focusing. Here we go. That's not great. That's really not a very good angle for me at all, is it? Okay, let's try something else. What if I put you like that? How about that? How do you like that, pal? All right, hold on. All right, this is new. Hey, that's not so bad. Uh-oh, I think I hear somebody coming. All right, well, it's not too bad. Let me pop this down a little bit. There you are. You can see, holy crap. God, you should see the getup I'm dealing with here. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. This is... I'm going to do a full reworking over here after this. Yeah, you're going to. Hold on, buddy. Let me get this done here. I'm putting this together, and I've got people who can't even see me here. Here we go. All right, well, that's not great. Come here, you. Come here. Say hi. Ladies and gentlemen, the show's mascot, Little Declan. Hi. Say hi, hi, hi. Hi. There you go. So, everybody enjoy the innocence. Ooh. All right, ready to go? You and Mommy gotta go play. Boop. Say bye.
Bye.
Okay, perfect. All right, people. So we're gonna have chat. How do you get this angle better? How do we do this? You gotta see the full hair. I'm just saying. It's important. Now, do I know what's gonna happen with this stand? I don't know. Yeah, you got a dump truck, buddy. I know. It's an awesome dump truck too. So, don't touch anything, buddy. Hey, Luigi, how are you, my friend? Okay. So, Declan, I need you to go, buddy. Go play with Mama. Okay. So, I got a little hot tea here. I got my whole thing happening here. Old school gamer sub. Get this thing out of the way here. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. That's this angle. It's kind of flipped here. It's funny, interesting. Okay, so today I'm working on a podcast. I think I figured it out once. Michigan's reopening, but I gotta remain cautious. Other than that, watching Doctor Who. Carl Eichholz. Okay, again, I'm gonna have you go listen to Tony Robbins' latest podcast. It's 2.5 hours. It's a panel of doctors, Nobel Prize winner. It will change your mind. You'll be fine. You'll love it. Because it really is eye-opening. It blows your mind. It's just absolutely amazing. Yes, we have been lied to on many areas. Not like conspiracy, but it's like bureaucracy, man. Seriously, it's ridiculous. I'll be right back. Hold on. Ooh, I found some lemon. Yeah, green tea and lemon. That'll take care of the throat. Probably just have some honey in there, but it's okay. I don't need it right now. But today I wanted to do a special podcast about connecting with those who disagree with you. There are many ways of doing that, but I've been running around and I haven't had time. But it's just the way I operate is I think things through in my head and I go and I have to write them down. If I don't write them down, I forget them later sometimes. So I've been writing things down as I go. So it's kind of back and forth. And I'm trying to figure out, hey, Kelsey, what's up? How exactly I'm going to put this together. So I think I have some levels on how I want to do this, because I want to make it a podcast and I want to get it out there as soon as possible, because I think people need some tools that they don't have right now. Assume. Let's see. Skepticism. I need to put that in there. Healthy skepticism, of course. Okay. So I'm working on some different levels on this, because you guys are watching what's going on out there. I mean, I have no idea what's going on right now, because it's Wednesday in the States. People are still protesting, etc. And that's, I understand that. And I did a podcast a couple days ago. I didn't do anything yesterday because it was political. and not on my part, not me making a statement, but too many people, if you say anything that isn't towing the line on socials, you're going to get attacked. So I just said, I ain't saying nothing. I'm going to be quiet and just relax for the day. But now it's Wednesday there, Thursday here. Tomorrow night, I'm doing my live reading and signing of the book. We'll see. I may have to postpone that. But we'll see what happens there. But I'd love to be able to do that tomorrow night. I figured out about your podcast, done on Unlocked, and I'm going to do it on Twitch. Awesome. Highly recommend you focus on Twitch. I'm not going to say anything reason why. I'm just going to say highly just urge you to focus on Twitch. Anyway, so writing down some ideas so that when I go live in about 8 minutes, I will be able to flow with this. So it's 1, 2, and respect. Doot. There we go. There it is. Matrix, that's like 1. That's 1 and 1A. That's 1, 1A. There we go. All right. So putting this stuff together, assume. All right. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about connection, communicating with other people, feel free to ask it right now so that I can address that during the podcast. Because what it really seems is there's so many people that are not connecting, that they're not listening. And you see this on socials. People are like going, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I'm so afraid that they're opening things up. Everyone's going to die. That's not true. You have to get informed and educated. That's right. Inform, educate, example, Tony. There we go. So, like I'm saying, everybody's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And they're in fear. And if they're in fear, you're not going to make good decisions. So like I've been telling you guys, go Tony Robbins, listen to his latest podcast on this whole COVID thing. It'll blow it out wide open for you, and you'll be like, oh, we've been doing this, and I'm worried about this. Why? You'll see. More viewers on Twitch. Yeah. Yeah, same here. So, and you can edit your videos. That's right. Spazookas. What's up, man? What's up, yo? So, but I'm going to be giving tools. I'm going to be giving some actual techniques and tools and concepts for you today. And and oh yeah, got it. So write this down as I'm talking to you guys. Cool. So what's the other things? A couple other things I want to write down here. Yeah. Got it. So I say don't talk first. So I'm working on this because there's a couple of ideas I'm going to throw out. So when you say a podcast, I recommended the Tony Robbins podcast. Cool. You definitely watch that. It's just a listen. You're not going to watch it, but you're going to listen to it. So yeah, it is amazing.
Do you want me to text you where we're going to have lunch?
Yes, please.
Are you going to record your podcast?
Yeah, I am. I've got one. I think I got a good one here. So.
Yeah. Well, we are going to go out to lunch, so I'll text you where we are having lunch.
All right. Let me know, baby. You want to say hi?
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Do you want to say hi again?
I say hi too.
You want to say hi again? Oh my goodness. Here we go. Oh. Say hi one more time.
Hi.
Hi. Say it over here, because this is where everybody is.
Hi.
You wave over there. You say hi.
Want to take the monster trucks?
You want to take a monster truck? Of course you do. All right. Go with Mama.
Monster truck and a dump truck?
Everybody says hello, Dickie.
Hello, Dickie.
He just did a spin. It was amazing. It's like a little chihuahua. Hello, Jackie. Oh, so funny. That boy. So we just came down from down sitting in the jacuzzi for a little bit there. It was lovely. They're opening things up here, and most things are opened up now. Like the gym is open. It's like, oh, there must be 4 people, and you have to sign in here, and yada yada yada. That's all going to go away rapidly as people learn, what we've dealt with. Now, is there going to be a resurgence in the fall? Probably will. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll get it. You'll be like, I ain't worried about it at all. What do you use? Go live on Twitch. Well, see, I used OBS, but my computer kept freezing on me. So I'm doing this on my phone. I've got my computer here, but I'm doing the thing live on the phone. But when I do the podcast, I'm going to be recording with my microphone over here. And I'll have the microphone ready to go right here, which I've got my Audacity here. Let me check on it. Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. Okay, so I need to up the gain here a little bit. Check 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check. So ba. That's a little high. Off. There we go. And schmirkle. All right, we got it going on, baby doll, and I'm on fire. Okay, there's that. Anyway, so for me today it's important because I was seeing what's been going on, and I don't get political. It's not about politics. It's just about being. It's about connecting and communicating as human beings. That's my jam. Relationships, seeing how people are talking and discussing, and like watching some of the people interact has been so very interesting because I'm studying it from their body language, et cetera, et cetera. And if you've got some body language that says like, I'm all about love, you're like, no, you're not, and you're frightening me, and that's what I'm seeing a lot of. People are emphatic, but they don't realize what they're doing physically is delivering the opposite of what they think they're delivering, and that's a good one too. Physicality, congruent massage. So, so this one is, I'm going to discuss that a little bit because people don't really think about it. Even me, I am one of the people I'm guilty of, I communicate from my style, from, let's say, my value style, my bank code, high action. I do that, but I'm also high knowledge and blueprint at the same time. My nurturing has been low, but I've learned to bring up the nurturing side. So basically to bring up the love, because love is where it all comes from. And when people say that, it's like, well, you got to bring the love. Everybody's like, oh, God, the love. Yeah, but... and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Excuse me. Oh. Hold on. Do. Okay, now, so I'm going to get into this here in just a few minutes, and then we'll knock it out. Because was that your fan running? No fan's running. Nothing's going on. Oh, what you heard, that was hair dryer. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to wait until they boogie. Oh, you're back. Well, then you might have just missed it. It wasn't the fan running, it was the hair dryer. Kim was drying her hair. Okay. Do I got anything in my nose? Check it out. Hey, we're family here. Anyway, I think this is, I'm hoping I'm able to help, because this is my forte. This is what I do. When I'm talking with people, when I work with people, I help them, like I say, see the matrix. I help them see why people make decisions that they make, why relationships are giving that, and I'll give some examples of that. And we'll talk about it. So if you guys have any questions about, hey, how do I connect with other people that disagree with me? How do I connect with people that have different viewpoints from me? How do I do that? And that's what I'm going to discuss today. I'm going to give you some ideas and some options, some tools and techniques to help you do that. Because it's so interesting watching what's going on, and if you do watch it from where it's interesting and not, oh my God, I'm so angry, that's a problem, because you cannot make good decisions when you're angry, and I'll get into that. Let's see.
I think we're going to do the Brazilian steakhouse.
Okay.
So.
That will work.
If you do a really good podcast, and I'll treat you to lunch.
Oh, I'm going to do a really good podcast, so she'll treat me to lunch. All right. All right, I will start as soon as you shut that door. I'll start my podcast, and I'll be there in 40 minutes. There you go. Okay, you get anxiety when you talk to people face to face, and this will help you a little bit. Some of these will help, I think. Okay, let's do this thing. So for those of you that know, I don't know if any of my mods are here, but I'd appreciate it if my mods aren't here, if you guys will help me out. When people pop in to say hi or whatever, if they ask me any questions while I'm doing my podcast, know that I cannot answer them because this is my podcast. I go 30 minutes and then I'm done. Then I can answer a couple of questions. Then I got a boogie because I'm going to have lunch with my wifey and my baby. So that's it. And let's go ahead and get this started. Ready? Hello. Thank you for joining me here on my Mind Scrambler podcast, and welcome to the show. I am Spike Spencer, your host, and today I have kind of a topical situation here. Today is, let's see, what is today's date? Today is June 4th, 2020. Now, it's June 4th, 2020 here in Australia, where I am still currently. And as most of you know, I am originally from Burbank, over there in California. Have not been back for 3 months because of the COVID pandemic. Side note, COVID pandemic way overblown. Watch Tony Robbins' podcast on COVID-19. Please do yourself a favor. It is not political. It is full of facts, and it will take away the fear that you may have. Now, today what I wanted to talk about also, we're dealing with worldwide protests and marches and anger and injury over the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd. Let's not parse words here. It is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And there's an ongoing systemic racism problem in America that, some people will argue on one side or the other. That's not what this show is about. I am not political. I don't give a crap. I think they're all the same for the most part. One way or the other. I've been through many presidential races and election seasons and yada yada yada, and almost nothing has changed since my first one. So that being said, watching what's happening outside, outside of the country. I'm outside the country, but what's happening in the U.S. all over is so interesting in so many ways. A couple of things. One. Are the protests warranted? Absolutely. I understand that and I feel for it completely. And I love the fact that most of them, the big vast majority of them, are absolutely peaceful. And they are exercising their First Amendment right, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And then looters come in later, and I know for a fact, because I have friends on the ground there in Hollywood, blocks away from this, saying the protests were fine all day long, peaceful, and then the sun started to go down, something happened, everything shifted, people came in, people were being not bussed in, but a lot of cars come in, and then suddenly people get out of the cars and start busting things up. So this is orchestrated, guys. There is some definite orchestration going on here. Do your own research, but I know from people eyes on the ground, my friends. And there's that. But that's not what this is about. That's not what this podcast is about. And like I said, I'm not a I'm not an activist, quote unquote. I do speak my mind. I also have a very open mind, and that has not always been the case. I used to think I have a very open mind, and I would say, wow, maybe my mind isn't that open. Maybe I need to look at things a little differently. And that brings me to my topic today. The title I have, I am rubber, you are glue. Really? How to connect with people who disagree with you. Because you know that old saying, I am rubber, you are glue, it bounces off me. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks on you. The old, kid stupid thing. But it's funny, it really goes deeper than that silly little nursery rhyme. We understand in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, there is a concept called perception is projection. If you see it, you be it. Again, that's the way I say it. I put it. You see it, you be it. If you see it in somebody else, you have it in you. And a lot of times that makes you angry. If you're angry at something somebody else is doing, the way we train that as coaches, we say, well, turn it in on yourself and look at you and see where in you do you have that very thing that you're, quote unquote, judging or being angry about. And it can even go back to biblical. What is it? Who's without sin cast the first stone, or point out the splinter in someone's eye when you have a 2x4 in yours, something like that. I'm not exactly churchy McChurcherson, guys. I was raised in the church, yes, as a child. Southern Baptist, actually, out of Oklahoma. But let's just say I diverted a bit from my teachings down the road. Thus, see my book. What happens at the con stays at the con. Anyway, side note. So, in order to be able to communicate with other people, you have to be able to see their point of view. Or at the very least, attempt to see their point of view. So let me break this down real fast, as I only have a short time to talk. What I'm seeing, and what a lot of you guys are seeing, is people having very, very short fuses and a very, very limited point of view. Everything is this and that is it. It is A or B. It is black or white. Literally, in many cases, it is black or white. The cops are bad. The cops are horrible. Yada, yada, yada. And other side, people say, oh, see, this is what happens when, quote unquote, these people do this or that. That's like kind of the racist side. And it's like none of these are true 100%. There are good and bad apples everywhere. There is gray area everywhere. And I think in order to communicate with people who do not agree with you, it is best to find the common ground. Find the common ground. Like politically, it used to be that the right and the left both wanted America to be the best country in the world. Not sure that is the case anymore. You can decide that amongst yourselves. Like I said, not political. But if you're dealing with people that do not connect with you, a lot of times just walk away, number one, especially on socials. You're not going to type fast enough to get everything out there that you need to get out to talk to these people. I'm talking about one-on-one discussions. That's the only way you're going to really get yourself across, because one-on-one discussions, even if it's on Zoom, you have a physicality that you have. It's called the Moravian model, and most of our communication is physical. So even though I'm on a video now, you can somewhat see my physicality. Therefore, you understand what I'm saying to you far better. It's about 58% of our communication. Then the other, I think it goes up to 30 some odd percent is the tone, how we're discussing and how we're saying things. And then the last bit of it is the words we actually use. The last bit, it's like 7%. And most of the time on socials, email, text, etc., you're only getting that 7%. That's why things get misconstrued so much. And that's why things like Twitter, Facebook, etc., it's just an anger fest, because people are bringing to that discussion what they already have in them. If you are angry, then you are going to bring anger. If you are sad, you're going to read it in a quote unquote sad voice. So I want to go a little bit deeper and see if we can open this discussion up a little bit so that you can have a chance to get your point of view across, but not have to get your point across. Let me say that again. Most people want to talk. They say, well, let's have a discussion because they want to get their point across, not because they want to hear other points of view. It's called confirmation bias. So if you've got confirmation bias, you already believe this thing, so everything you look at is going to confirm that bias you already have. It's called the reticular activating system. You will see what you want to see. That goes deeper. That's a whole other podcast. But the bottom line is, step one, don't have to get your point across. Somebody's already made your point of view. Somebody's already said what you have said, and they've probably heard it 25 different times in different ways. Granted, your filter is a little bit different. Like my filter is a little bit different, but I'm coming at you with some solid stuff that I want to help you, some technique, some tools, and some mindset. So let me take a drink here. Let's start. I'm going down. Now, I'm kind of free-flowing here. I made some notes, but I want to get some of this out. So if you want to take notes, great. I'd love that. There are a few points that matter a lot. Excuse me, still coming off that cough. Not COVID, baby. Not COVID. Never got me. Number one, remove your ego. You have to remove your ego. If you have to be right, it doesn't matter what's going to happen. There's going to be a fight. There's going to be an argument. There's going to be mistrust. There's going to be all that. And I know this is a hard start. Remove your ego. You do not have to be right. See, quick example of that is if you are confident in something, you don't have to prove it. So if you think, well, I am right, well, then your ego is going to go fight for that. But if you say, you know what, I think I'm open enough. I believe I'm right, but I'm open to being proven wrong, to new information, to a different point of view. So by removing your ego, and as I said before, don't try to be right. Don't go in there just to express your side. If you remove your ego, you're open. You open yourself up to different ideas and different concepts without being defensive. And I think that's a really good place to start, because that also allows you, for the other position that I have at 1A, which is start with respect. Now think of it this way. If you go into a conversation or a discussion with somebody with the idea already that anything they say is wrong, how do you think you're going to communicate with them? You're not. You're not going to communicate with them. You're going to be at loggerheads right from the get-go, and that is going to really mess up any chance of communicating. So if you can remove your ego for a second, like literally envision standing beside yourself and going, okay, shut up. I'm over here now. I'm cool. I'm open. Spike's over here. He's got his thing. He knows. He's like, hey, I'm Spiky and this is how I feel. Meh. Okay, that's fine. Move him out of the way and be Spiky over here going, all right, man, let's talk. Let's see what's going on. There you go. Push that other guy away and remove your ego, step outside and start with the respect to say, hey, maybe you're right. Even if you think, oh my God, they're not right no matter what. Well, maybe they are. Why not? It doesn't hurt anybody. It's free. You say, well, maybe they're right. Let's talk about that. So if there's a possibility they may be right, what if, think about it this way, what if you're both right? What if you're both wrong? Because think of it this way. Like biblically, religion, one of the most divisive things in the world, right? Religion. One religion says this thing, whatever it is not only okay, but sanctioned by God. And the other religion says not only is that thing that they're saying is good and sanctioned by God, not only is that not quite correct, it is also sanctioned by God to be wrong. So you've got two different religions with absolutely 100% opposing views by religion. Do you think they're going to connect? Do you think they're going to be able to communicate effectively? Chances are very, very slim that that's going to happen. But if you look at them and say, well, let's turn the tables let's say they're right. Okay, let's say you're right. Now let's discuss from that point of view, what does that mean to you? How are you right? Let's break it down, not just, I'm right because of this. Meh. No. What are the reasons? Give me some reasons why that is right. What is the purpose of you doing this thing, whatever it is, holding this belief? What is the purpose? What is your intent for that? Because if you ask why, you're usually only going to get excuses. But if you say, well, what is the purpose of this? What is the intent of you doing this? And they may give you a nice answer, and you go, oh, I didn't even think of that. Interesting point of view. So be curious, because if you were to connect with somebody, here is a great thing. I've heard this a long, long time ago, and it is so very true. If you want to be interesting, you need to be interested. Because if you are interested in somebody else, they are going to be interested in you, because you're like, wow, you're really listening to me. Well, if you really want to know, then I'll open up. Because the initial dialogue that happens is you've got to chisel away at that wall. There's a wall right there, and it's like, oh, they're going to tell me I'm wrong, and you're going to come right at it. But if you ask questions, you chip away at that wall. And once that wall is down, and they're like, well, okay, well, let's discuss this. And they'll discuss from a different place. So you may not agree with them, but respect them. Because they have lived their life through their filters. They've lived their life through their experiences. And that's theirs. It's not good or bad. It is. That is 100% reality. Excuse me. And it is their reality. So you have to step into that. If you give them that space, then they're going to be able to talk with you. Another thing I want you to understand is how to take the negative power away. Let me see. Where did I put that down? I wrote that down somewhere. All right. Taking away the power of a negative attack or the initial connection problems that you think you may have, you have to come from a space of relaxation. So by getting outside the ego and asking yourself, what if they're right? Giving them that respect and that space, your demeanor changes. And when your demeanor changes, you're not going to get activated. You're not going to get, quote unquote, my least favorite word, one of them, triggered. Because that is something that I just don't understand. The triggering. Let me explain triggers for a second. People say, oh, that triggered me. Well, yes and no. In contemporary nomenclature, yes, triggering means, they got this reaction from you. Well, that's it. It's a reaction. Understand this. So they had an action. They called you a name or something. It's just verbal. Remember, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is not the case anymore. Oh, words have all this power now suddenly because we're all so sensitive. Well, okay, understand that. But people are saying they get triggered by somebody said something. The triggering is a reaction to something. If somebody says something, you react, and you have 100% power over how you react. Let me say that again. I want you to understand that. You have 100% power over how you react. Now, I'm not talking about fight or flight. If somebody attacks you, physically attacks you, and you have to defend yourself, that's one thing. But somebody says something, and it could be anything. I mean, it's not even, I'm not saying somebody calls you a name. They just say something. It's not even an attack, and you go off. What that means is you are reacting to something, probably based on something that happened to you far in your past. So in that case, you're not in control. Which brings me to cause and effect. If you are at cause, you are always in control. If you're at effect, you're always a victim. So you can and you do have the power to be at cause, especially if you are reacting or getting quote-unquote triggered. In the coaching world, there is a saying that says the triggers are our teachers. So if you get triggered by something, and I've done it too, I'm guilty, I'm not saying I don't. I get triggered. I'm like, holy crap, I just got triggered. What is that? That's a reaction. Why did I have that reaction? What was the purpose of this? What was the purpose of that? I start asking myself questions. So if you can ask yourself questions before you go in, say, hey, what is it about their stance or their idea or where they're coming from that is triggering me, first off? Because it's their opinion, they're right. So what? What does that have over you? If your opinion is your opinion, it's your own, okay, fine. But remember, we're asking questions about everything here. So if you go in asking yourself, why does their reaction or what they're saying, why does that trigger me? Ask yourself that question, then you can get some answers. And you say, oh, okay. You do that little bit of work, and then whenever they come at you with some slogan or whatever that would usually set you off, you go, okay, I'm not going to get mad because I'm in charge of who I am and I'm in charge of my reactions. Therefore, I'm not going to allow you to make me angry because you can't make me angry. Only I can make me angry. You can do whatever you want to do, but you don't make me angry. Nobody has that power but you. So you say, I make a decision to not be angry and be calm. And these other things that I told you earlier will help you get to that position. But being in that position to be open and not get quote unquote triggered, that's going to put you in a powerful spot. You're going to be able to talk because when somebody comes at you with something that you would trigger, there was a level in discourse. You'll find it in if you ever had a fight with your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, or maybe a friend. It starts out at one level and it goes higher. And then if you're both at this level, if you can see me, my hands are at the same level. You're both at one level, you're on an even keel. The discussion begins. Well, when somebody gets a little bit heated and they go up a level, and if the other person goes up to match them on that higher level, now you've got a discussion that is more intense. And then the other one goes up a little higher, and then the other one catches up, and now it's even more intense, and it keeps going up and up and up because each person is trying to match the other person's intensity and energy level because they want to be right. It's a stair-step battle to explosion. If, however, one of them is even keel, and the other person starts talking, and they're both on the same level, and then one goes up a little bit, and the first one does not go up and try to meet the other person on their level. They just stay where they are. The other person will probably go up another level, maybe two, but they'll see that you're not matching their energy. And then they'll start to come back down and come back down and come back down. That is a way to keep a conversation level and cool and chill. This is why I say when in doubt, chill. Silence, I have another saying, the ROI, the return on investment of silence is infinite. Because if you can listen, then you have so much more power. And it's a good, solid power because you are kind of in relationships, I call it, you're the center of the hurricane. If you're the center of the hurricane, then people can be all around you, but they know you're cool. And then they're going to come and they're going to chat with you because A, you're not a threat. B, you might just listen to them. And C, is a different energy and they need to come back down. It will calm them down. This is a really good way to keep from having explosive fights. All right, so I went through that. Good stuff. Guys, I'm really enjoying this discussion. Think about something else. Your internal feelings going into something are being radiated outward. I call it what resonates radiates. So what is resonating on the inside is being projected outside. In the dating world, if you guys don't know, I wrote a book called Food Game, A Man's Ultimate Recipe for Dating Success. And I've been teaching dating and relationships for a long time. There's something, we've all heard that women's intuition, we've all heard about that. It's absolutely real. Like I say, women are the closest thing to superheroes we have. Their senses are so much more attuned. The point is, what you feel, the energy you feel from the inside is radiated externally because that is the energy that you have. You can say something on the outside, but on the inside, if you are just, but on the outside, you're like, oh, everything is fine. No, it's not, and it's registering in your physicality. And people are picking up on that. And some people are more sensitive to that than others, but they are picking up on that. So if you go into a discussion with someone else, even if it's online, guys, even if it's online, your energy actually goes through digital. I kid you not. You send that energy. Excuse me. And as I said, now they're going to pick it up on their end based on whatever filters they have already inside of them. But your energy going out is palpable. And when that is happening, they feel it. So check yourself before you start trying to connect with anybody. You know, a lot of this stuff that I'm telling you, it's all about being internal and becoming that person, that strong person inside, so that you can't be swayed, you can't be triggered, you're open, you're interested, etc., etc. If you can calm yourself on the inside and really, really, really come from a place of maybe service or agreement, trying to find agreement, trying to find that common ground, if that is your truth, that will resonate and they will feel it. And you will be rewarded with much better communication on both sides. If you come at it, again, if you come at it with all of the stuff, all the junk inside of you, and you're going to talk to somebody you don't agree with, and you already think you're right, they're wrong, there's no reason to talk. Why would you even go talk to somebody? This is the thing I've never understood. You get protesters on both sides. The protesters on one side say, no matter what, this is right and you are wrong. The protesters on the other side, well, this is right and you are wrong. Well, great. Nothing's going to change. The only thing that might happen is violence. And I'm glad you guys all had your signs made and you want to get your opinion out there. But unless you're open to discussing, unless you're open to the other person's point of view, what's the point? Go back to work. Go watch Netflix. Go take a jog. Do something productive. Because if your mind is already made up, what's the point? This is the whole point of my talk, guys. What's happening right now is, yes, some people are having discussions. Some people are talking. But you can't talk to somebody and say, well, I'm all about love, while you're screaming it in their face. It's not aligned. If I say, I'm all about that love, wow. You can't chant things like, what is it, pig, roast the pigs, burn the pigs, something to the police, and then expect them to not be violent. Come on, they're human. Here's the thing. What if you realize going in that they're not all bad people? For the most part, they're all pretty darn good. There's some bad apples, and you betcha they got to get out of there. That's awful. I'm a huge proponent of the police, and I am shamed by some of the things that I've seen because Twitter has live video. A lot of places you're not being shown what's really going on in certain places. But at the same time, I'm also seeing the military and the police marching with people. Connection. That's happening too. So that brings me to one aspect, is you have to watch what you're being shown. You have to watch what you're being shown. Because if you're watching what you're being shown and you watch it from a bit of a skeptical eye, I'm not saying a jaundiced eye, I'm saying a bit of a skeptical eye, and say, hold on a second. Am I watching the news? The news, these companies that are designed to scare me. If you're watching the news of the companies that are designed to scare you and you're feeling fear, then they're working. And that's the situation, that's the problem. Get away from that. Stop the mainstream media, stop the radio, etc., etc. Understand what you're being told and what you're being fed. Take control of that first and foremost. That is a huge, huge, huge thing. You have to take control of what you are ingesting. And that's going to leave me with a couple of things Get out there and be informed as best you can, not with confirmation bias. If you know somebody has some news source has a different viewpoint, or some of your friends have a different viewpoint, ask them, hey, what's your take on this? And just listen. Do not interrupt. Do not interrupt. Listen. Hey, what is your take on this? How do you feel about this? I'd like to see this from other viewpoints. People will be open. They'll be like, wow, that's really great. I'd love to chat with you on that. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick. I know this is a short one, and I can get into many of the things that I've talked to on this podcast. Many of the things that I have said could have their own full podcast, but I wanted to give everybody a little bit of something to work with here, especially right now. It really is about the love that you bring. It's the love of yourself and the love of others, and it's a love that says, hey, golden rule, baby. I want for you what I want for me. We all want the same thing. We all want happiness, joy, peace, love, success, safety, etc., etc. Everybody on all sides of this wants that. Chunk up all the way up to the highest point where, hey, we all want the same thing. And as you get down into the details, people go at it from different viewpoints based on their lives and their experiences. So once again, here's the takeaway, guys. Here's what I want you to think. First of all, remove your ego. Start with respect. Get out of your own head. You don't have to be right because you want to find out what's out there. Be open. Be open. Also, what was the other one here? I'm working on it. I'm buying it. Assume that you're wrong. Assume that maybe they are right. What if? What if? What if they're right? Go from that angle. Because if they are right, great. And you are open, then maybe your mind could be turned a little bit. Who knows? We'll see. Excuse me. And then understand if you're being triggered already, those are your teachers. Find out why you're being triggered. Look inward and say, why did that happen? Because if you get triggered in the middle of a conversation, it's just going to explode. You don't want that. And remember, they are reacting to what you're feeling on the inside. So come from a place of service, a place of openness, a place of genuine questioning. Hey, why do you mean that? Why? What is it? What's the purpose of the way you're feeling? What is the intent? What is it that you want from this situation? Whatever it is. And make sure that your message when you're talking is congruent. Your physicality is congruent. That you are calm, that you are relaxed, and that you are open. And ask those questions. Okay? Then I think that pretty much is it. I'm really hoping that some of these concepts and ideas will help you with your mindset, help you connect with other people that you may not agree with at this point in time, and help avoid some fights, some unpleasantness, and some irritation, and help heal the world. Because seriously, guys, it is about the love. It is about the love of other people and the love of our world. So with that being said, thank you for listening to the Mind Scrambler podcast. This is Spike Spencer. Check me out on iTunes and pop on spikespencer.com because all of my podcasts are there. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. Adios. That's it. So, Shamashako. What up? So, yeah, this is the podcast, Shamashako. You were on it. So, yeah, I do 15 minutes, I chat for a minute, and then I go to my podcast. I just recorded that. That will be my next podcast, and I will put that through, and it'll be on iTunes. So, let's see. I'm glad you're a fan. Thank you so much. Voice Shinji, no idea. Yeah, so that's that. So, yeah, I'm going to have to boogie here pretty quick. I am off to go have lunch with my beautiful wife and my little baby boy. I love them immensely, and they are why I do these things. I really want you to get this. I want you guys to watch my podcast. I want you to watch the Tony Robbins podcast. Listen to the Tony Robbins podcast. Listen to my podcast. Go to spikespencer.com/podcast. All my podcasts are there. You can go on iTunes. Not all of them are there. Actually, I think they're all up right now. I've got 3 more that I got to put up soon. Anyway, go there. Either one. start listening to them, and there's some good information in there, and I'm going to have more, and I'm going to start having some guests on soon. I am working on that right now, figuring out how to make that happen. But I wish you all the best. Who is Toby Robin? No idea. I want you guys to... Oh, Tony Robbins. There you go, Tony Robbins. He is the biggest self-help personal growth coach in the world, has been for like 30 years. Amazing. And he has a podcast, and he has the podcast on all about COVID-19, and it's all doctors. It's all as a Nobel Prize winner, etc. And it'll blow your mind and take a lot of your fear away, believe me. All right, guys, that's it. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much for popping on Twitch. Please tell your friends to follow me here at Spike Spencer Speaks. Come on my Twitch feeds. And, don't forget, tomorrow night at 8 to 10 p.m. Australia time, which is like 3 a.m. in L.A., but I'm going to read from my book, What Happens at the Con Stays at the Con, for a couple of hours and do some live signings. If I sell any books, then I will do that. I may have to push it back, but we will see, because I haven't been able to do the marketing that I want. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time right here on the Mind Scrambler Show.